evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Mikey's Saturday Nightmares. All right, thank you so much for tuning in this Saturday. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a film that came out on July 27th of 1979, and it was directed by the great Stuart Rosenberg. And he's directed such films as Let's Get Harry from 1986, Brubaker from 1980, and Cool Hand Luke from 1967. Now, I think the only two that I have seen out of those is Brubaker and Cool Hand Luke, and both of those were great films. Great films. I'm interested to watch Let's Get Harry, so if you've seen that before, let me know down in the comment section below if it's worth a watch. So tonight's film that we're going to talk about is called the Amityville Horror. And like I said, it's the 79 version, so it's the original. We're not talking about that stupid reboot. But a lot of people did like the reboot, but I, for one, did not. So the original film stars the great James Brolin, who plays the character of George Lutz, and he also played in such films as Master of Disguise, which is a great comedy film. Great comedy film. And he also played in a film called Traffic and a film called The Expert with Jeff Speakman. Now, I've never seen Traffic. That's the only film that he has done on the list here that I have not seen is Traffic. Master of Disguise, like I said, is a great film. The Expert is a decent, actioneer with Jeff Speakman. Pretty decent flick. Pretty decent flick. And the film also stars the great Margot Kidder as Kathy Lutz. And she also played in, of course, Superman. And also the slasher Black Christmas. And she also played in Maverick with Mel Gibson and James Garner. And Jodie Foster, I believe, was in that film. Great Western film. Had a lot of people. Clint Black was in that film. Denver Powell, who played Uncle Jesse from The Dukes of Hazzard, he was in that film. Waylon Jennings. There was a lot of people in that film, but it was an awesome film. All three of those films are fantastic films. And the film also stars the great Rod Steiger, who plays the character of Father Delaney, and he also played in such films as End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mars Attacks with Jack Nicholson, and he also played in a film called American Gothic. Now, it has been years since I've seen the film American Gothic. But all three of these films were great films. Mars Attacks, I love Mars Attacks. End of Days with Schwarzenegger, what can you say? I mean, that was a great film. So all three are definitely worth a watch. Now, the plot for this film is newlyweds and their children battle a demonic presence in their new home. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and check out the trailer for the Amityville Horror. Here we go.
It's the kind of house they don't build anymore. A relic of a time when the world wasn't in such a hurry, when there was still time for a little charm and elegance. It has stood empty for a long while, and at the price, it is a bargain. For a growing young family, it is almost too good to be true.
What do you think?
I love it.
James Brolin, Margot Kidder, Rod Steiger in the Amityville Horror.
God's peace in this house. Get out. Get out.
Hello?
Hello, Kathy. Father Delaney, there's something very important.
Help. We have to do something.
I'm coming apart! Oh, Mother of God, I'm coming apart!
28 days after the Lutz family moved into their dream house, they were running for their lives. What happened to them is an experience in terror you will never forget, and you will believe in the Amityville Horror. From the best-selling book that made millions believe in the unbelievable, the Amityville Horror.
All right, that was a trailer for the Amityville Horror from 1979. It had a budget of $4,700,000, but the worldwide gross after the film was completed and aired $86,432,000. An incredible take back off of that film. It was, without the shadow of a doubt, a blockbuster in its day. The 1970s produced some great horror films, classic horror staples, like The Exorcist, Carrie, and Halloween. All came from this decade, and of course, the Amityville Horror. This movie does tell a great story, one that is allegedly based on truth. The story arc stays plenty interesting the whole way through. It has an ominous, dark setup and quickly heads down a disturbing path to horror and insanity. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you know I talk about ambiance and how to set the mood and that kind of thing. This movie does it perfectly. It builds and builds and builds until it reaches a point to where everything just starts falling apart, and it just builds up the suspense so very well. So very well. All the characters are affected in one way or another by the evil inside the house, and we get to watch every moment of it. We get to look into the spiraling insanity of this terrified family, as well as their friends, and especially Father Delaney, who must wage war against the possessed house, as well as the church, who refuses to believe anything he tells them, trying to help save this family. The two windows on the front of the house may look harmless, but used in the right context, they are extremely foreboding. There are plenty of shots of these two windows, which are practically the insignia for this movie franchise. Solid performance, pardon me, solid performances by the lead actors, James Brolin and Margot Kidder, who are great together. Their chemistry just flows throughout the whole film, um, and it's great to watch. It doesn't feel rushed or just thrown together. Their chemistry is great. Their chemistry is great. And it moves perfectly throughout the whole entire film. Steiger plays Father Delaney, though a slightly over dramatic role, but he captures it just right. This film is a fine example of horror done well, and would definitely recommend it to anyone interested in the classics of the horror genre. Um, I've I've seen this film numerous times. I usually try to go back and try to watch it right around, of course, Halloween. So it's become like a horror staple uh, to me. So I do watch it on a regular basis, especially around this time of year. I enjoy Margot Kidder, especially in the Superman movie, or movies, I should say. Excuse me, I had to take a drink. And James Brolin, what can you say about James Brolin? He is a great actor with a tremendous legacy. Josh Brolin, Everybody knows Josh Brolin as Thanos. He did an amazing job as Thanos, and he carries that acting gene very, very well. All right, so now we're going to get into some scary trivia. Some Saturday Nightmare trivia here. Because the movie was made on a relatively modest budget, Brolin took less money up front to do the film. He took less money up front to do the film with the promise of 10% of the gross sales after its release. He eventually received $17 million for this one film because it became such a blockbuster. I don't see any way you can plan it to work out any better than what it did for Josh Brolin, but the man is smart. The man is very smart. Due to all the unwanted fame from the book and the film brought upon the real house in Amityville, the current owners replaced the Evil Eye's windows with normal rectangle-shaped windows. Yeah, I guess they kind of get pissed off because of the fame of the book and the film, and everybody wanting to visit the actual horror house. So yeah, I kind of understand that, but what a shame! What a shame to have to go to that length to protect your sanity from all the fame. James Brolin's brother, Brian Bruderlin, was actually used for the image of the bearded man seen appearing from the red room in the cellar of the house. His brother was fitted with a fake beard to play the part. There was another actor, or another person that they had planned to use for that role as the bearded man, but the director wanted somebody that looked like Josh Brolin or James Brolin. And when he found out that Brolin had a brother, they contacted him and say, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And that's pretty spot on. That's pretty meticulous of him to go that far to find somebody that looked just like James to play that. At around the 20-minute mark into the film, while washing dishes, Margot Kidder's character is heard humming the love theme from Superman in 1978. That's pretty cool. I've noticed that a couple times, and I kind of picked up on it. I think a couple of years ago when I watched it, I picked up on it. But the only reason why I really picked up on it then was because I had just finished watching Superman. It was on TV, and I watched it on TV and then watched the Amityville Horror. So I picked up on it then, but I wouldn't have known it if I hadn't done that. Honey was rubbed on Rob Steiger's head to draw the flies to him during the house blessing scene. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure Rod Steiger didn't like it very much, but anyways, nice of him to go that far to create that. At the time of its release, the film was one of the highest-grossing independent films of all time and American Pictures International's biggest hit. Now, I could see that. I could see that. What did I do here? Oh, okay. Cinematographer Fred J. Cohenkamp admitted to having a hard time filming the scenes with the flies, as he claimed to be scared of insects. While filming the scenes where he had to get close-ups of the flies, he actually either looked away or closed his eyes and just hoped to get a good shot of these flies because he was so afraid of the insects. And honestly, he actually came out later and said that he lost 30 pounds making this film because he refused to eat because he said the flies made him lose his appetite. How scared or how uh yeah, how scared of insects do you have to be in order to not to eat? Uh I'm not scared of a whole lot of things. Um I'm not saying I'm not scared of something, but I don't think I'd be scared enough to where I wouldn't want to eat. I mean, I got a pretty good large belly here, so I eat good. Uh, the outdoor scenes in the movie were not filmed in Amityville, Long Island, but in Toms River, New Jersey. Local police and ambulance workers played extras. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Boy, I would have liked to have played in this film. I like to play in any film, actually. Even if I die like 3 minutes into the film, at least I can say, hey, I played in the film. While the DeFeo family murders obviously are a major plot point for this film, um, but for whatever reason, they are never actually referenced by name in the film. Um, I never noticed that after all these times I've watched it. I never noticed that they weren't actually referenced in the movie. Okay. Oh, now here's something that really blew me away. Harrison Ford was in consideration for the role of George Lutz after the unexpected success of Star Wars A New Hope. Burt Reynolds, James Caan, and Christopher Reeve were also considered for the role. That's pretty cool, considering that Margot Kidder had just finished playing Lois Lane with Christopher Reeve in Superman. It would have been cool to see them back on screen together again in a horror film. Um, Burt Reynolds, I honestly don't think he can go. I don't want to say he can't go serious because I know that he can. He can go serious. But to have Burt Reynolds in a horror film, I don't think so. I don't think so. James Caan, he wouldn't. I don't think he would have fit very well with Margot Kidder. Not saying that he couldn't. He probably could, but I don't think he could. Uh, so I'm glad they stuck with James Brolin because it just fit well. Like I said, their chemistry was fantastic in this film. Of course, you know, Margot Kidder's chemistry with Christopher Reeve was great in Superman. Um, but here in this film, it just flowed through the whole film just like seamlessly. Um, so yeah, I don't think James Caan or Burt Reynolds could have done it. Christopher Reeve probably could have. Um, I'm certain that he could have. I mean, he did play in Village of the Damned and did very well in that movie, and he played in it with Kirstie Alley. So he probably could have done pretty well in that film. This film was fantastic by all stretches of the imagination. It was fantastic. Um, I I recommend uh, this one, the second one. The third one was okay. It was all right. It was all right for what it was. Um, but they've made so many of these films and tied them to Amityville some way or another, and a lot of them don't even have anything to do with the Amityville original story or anything to do with the house. I think I seen one the other day. It was like Amityville something or other, but it was about vampires. Come on, give me a break. Now, the Amityville Awakening in 2017, I believe, is when that film came out. That is an excellent film. Okay, that is an excellent adaptation to that story. It's not like a reboot. I think it's like supposedly a prequel or something like that, but it's tied in to that story by the house. Uh, so it's a great film. It really is. It came out directly on DVD. And it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed that film very, very much. Very, very much. I highly recommend that film. Another one I liked was the now this is just me. This is just my opinion. Was Amityville Dollhouse. Now, if you've never seen that film, check it out. I'm pretty sure you'll like it. I enjoyed that one. And what was the other one? It was I think it was Amityville, time for a change or something like that. It had something to do, it had to do with a clock that supposedly came from the original house. That movie was pretty good. But Amityville Awakening, fantastic film. If you've never seen that, definitely check that one out. I highly recommend that film. But getting back to the original film was fantastic. The way they set everything up was fantastic. The ending, the climax of the film, left a little bit to be desired. It's not a bad ending, but after it built up and built up and built up, you expect to see this big, final confrontation or final big ending. And the ending they stuck with could have been done better, I think. But as far as the whole entire film goes, uh, it's fantastic. It is so worth a watch, just to see James Brolin and Margot Kidder's chemistry. Rod Steiger, like I said, he overplays the role, but he does it with such finesse that it just fits. I mean, he does an excellent job. Um, and like I said, it's just a great watch if you've never seen it before. Um, so we're going to end the video here. Um, the next time I will see you guys will probably be. I think I'm going to change the days for the classic movie buffet theater. Where I keep ending up being late getting the Thursday date for those videos out. I think I'm going to change it to a day earlier. So it will actually come out on Wednesdays now. So Wednesdays will be Classic Movie Buffet Theater, and Saturdays will still be Mikey's Saturday Nightmares. So hopefully that can keep me on track with the Classic Buffet. I'm doing pretty fairly well with the Saturday Nightmares. So hopefully this will fix that Classic Buffet Theater and I can get that video put out on time like I want to. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this film down in the comment section below. Do you like it? Is it one of your favorites? Do you find it to be kind of dated and just not as great as it was when you first watched it? Just let me know down in the comment section below what you think of it. Leave a like on the video, and if it's your first time watch, please consider subscribing to the channel. I hope you enjoy the content that I get put out, and I will see you guys on Wednesday for Classic Movie Buffet Theater. Until then, have a great week, folks. See you then. Bye-bye.